Hey guys, Chance here with another one of our battle reports, and playing in one of our battle reports today we got Matt Cerino. Matt, you want to tell the people what you're playing today?
So I'm going to be trying out Space Marines with the Command Squad, Grav Guns, and I'm allying Space Wolves for drop pods for some Logan and some Big Punch.
Yeah, drop pods is something we can take a look at. I mean, objective security is the thing we're going to be going on about pretty much for the entirety of this edition. But what do you see as being the key factor in this list? Do you see, like, kind of dropping Logan in as being your big hitter, or what do you think he's going to go for?
I mean, in theory, Logan with the multi-multas is really going to be what packs the punch. He's heavy vehicle-based, so it's 4 multi-multa shots that I can, in theory, split fire. Another big thing is I'm going to have to be rolling 6s with my Grav Guns. If I can roll enough 6s and get some mobilized results, the nice thing is he's got his shields that he can just pop to ignore the pens for the multi-multas, but 2 6s on Grav, and I'll wreck one, and I'll be good.
That'll be good. Because Matt's playing, we're going to talk to Matt in a little bit, Matt's playing a ton of Serpents and not a whole lot else. So really, what are you just worried about being able to get them off the table?
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be 5 objectives. I need to hope that I can destroy them fast enough. The longer the game goes on, the better for me, in theory. If I can pass armor saves, which is going to be a big question
We
mark.
know your dice.
Yeah. If I can pass armor saves, I will eventually be able to whittle them down. It's just a factor of being able to pass the armor saves, get them knocked down, and being done with it.
And we're talking about it. This is 7th edition. This is actually going to be our 4th battle report coming out for 7th edition for you guys.
Yep.
How does 7th edition really change your list? I mean, is it the fact that you have 11 things that are objective secured, or is it the fact that you've always played drop pod wolves a ton of time, and you've played bikes before? We've seen it on these.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is going to be normally the bikes. I just auto ally like a room priest just for prescience, pretty much. But that's going to be a lot less reliable. I do have a librarian. I'll get prescience. I'll just take divination and I'll get the primaris for free. The biggest problem is he's only level 1, so I'm going to get D6 plus 1 die to hopefully cast a warp charge 2 spell that he's got a Farseer. He's either level 2 or 3, so he's going to get that D6 number plus 3 to then try to deny it. So, in theory, as long as I can roll like a 3 or a 4 for my psychic turn, but prescience is going to be big. If I can get prescience, it's going to be important.
Yeah, and we'll see whether or not you can. We got the new edition, new psychic phase, objective secured units.
Yep.
We'll see you out there, Matt.
Yep. Thanks.
And we're here with our second player, Matt DeFranza. You want to tell the people what you're playing?
Today I'm playing the Fit As Many Serpents in 1850 game as you can.
Solid. How many were you able to pack in?
8. I think you might be able to get 9, technically, if you get rid of all upgrades, but I didn't bother. I was writing up a couple minutes.
You didn't want to go completely bare bones. You didn't want to fit too many waves.
Yeah.
Now, as you said, you're playing a ton of Serpents. What are you looking to get at?
Stay alive till the end of the game.
Yeah.
Tank shock a bunch, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we got 16. We talked about Matt had 11 objective secures. Well, other Matt has 16. That's a ton. So you just gotta try and play the game of run over as many of his Marines as possible, try and get them off the objective, because you actually can contest them. You don't have any heavy support. We're actually playing big guns never tire, so it's a little bit of a disadvantage for Matt Cerino, because he has multiple heavies that he's going to look on. Are you going to look to pick on those heavies to get the extra victory points, or what are you looking to do?
Not incredibly. I think the point is if I can eliminate enough of his objective secured units, then I don't have to worry about the game. So if that starts to go well, I think the last ditch effort is if I can't eliminate enough of them, try to get the 1 extra 2 points out of his heavies.
So that way you can kind of eke it out, something like that. So we take a look at Matt's list, and he has drop pods, he's got Living Grimnar, he's got multi-multas all over the place, he's got combi-multas all over the place. What are you going to kind of try and do? Are you going to try and make sure that his Alpha Strike with all of his multas doesn't go as well as possible? Really, what can you plan for out of the list?
Well, the tough thing is I do have Night Fight, so I can force. I got Night Attacker, so I can force that. But with Searchlights, he can take that away pretty easily. So yeah, I think the point is to try to just survive the first turn, do what I need to do, potentially get first blood, and then move on from there.
And we always talk about how important it is for you guys to play to your missions and that sort of thing. When you go in, look at the overview of the game, see what you can do, see what your positives are, what your negatives are. Now, as we talk about 7th edition specifically, and you're talking about this list, is there anything you're really looking at and goes, well, if I play this in 6th, it'd be this way. If I play it in 7th, it's going to be this way. I mean, we already talked about a little bit with Matt Cerino earlier, the Psychic phase. He's really only got a level 1 guy. And you're bringing who, particularly?
There's a Farseer and a Spirit Seer, so I have 5 mastery levels with his one.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be big. You're going to try and deny whatever powers Matt has. Is that really the biggest thing that's coming out of this list in 7th edition?
Yeah, I mean, the tanks got more durable. The Jink is a 4-up instead of a 5-up. Granted, I have the Snapfire thing, which is kind of a bummer. I wasn't too familiar with this list going into it. I played Council for most of it, So it's not totally different than it was. The Psychic phase will be a little different. I can't buff the squads from outside. So I took the Mantle of the Laughing God and Foshal's Wing to keep the Farseer and the Spirituary moving.
Yeah. It's going to be definitely interesting as we go into the new edition and we see troops and troop transports coming to the head, a lot of mobile armor, that sort of thing. We always talk about it, but stop talking about it and actually see it in action now on the battlefield. Hey guys, it's Chance here.
And Jesse.
We're bringing you guys another battle report.
Why do I always have to say and Jesse? Why can't it be, hey guys, it's Jesse here?
You know what? Maybe next time it will be.
Alright, maybe.
Maybe. We got some Matt-on-Matt violence is going to be going down. We got Matt DeFranza with... Oh, how many is that?
I think 8 Wave Serpents.
I can't count that high, but it looks like a lot.
Yeah, I'm not very good at using my brain.
So, we got Matt DeFranza with Serpent Spam, and we got Matt Cerino with the Imperium. We got some Space
Marines and Space Wolves.
Yeah.
So Matt's rocking out with the Bike Command Squad that was so popular throughout the last edition.
Yeah, and he's bringing some drop pods too. He actually has Logan Grimnar in one of those pods, so that's going to be real interesting.
Yeah, Logan with the full unit of multi-melta long fangs.
Oh yeah, definitely. If anyone knows Matt loves multiple things. He loves meltas, and he loves drop pod wolves. So
hates rolling dice though.
Hates rolling dice well, I would have to
yes.
say. And Matt DeFranza we got here, he's actually going to be speccing a little bit of it out, so you can see this deployment. That
so
whole back line.
It's hammer and anvil. DeFranza won the die roll to deploy first. He deployed first. When Cerino scouted his bikes up and he saw he could get some shots off on him, he decided to go ahead and take first turn and try to get that Melta. Now, this is going back to what I've been harping on. Jink is so strong. It's turn 1 night fight. You see all these Wave Serpents just unloading their shields because there's nothing to come back at them and really retaliate besides the drop pod. But they're looking at 3-up cover saves with Jake.
It's one of those things where you've taken a look at, even though there aren't many hull points on some of these vehicles, Jink is just so strong. It's like essentially just getting an invuln save to whatever comes across the field at you. So we see here, Matt's going to load up some drop pods to try and do some damage, but he kind of has to play this game where whatever I throw in front of these Wave Serpents is going to die eventually. They may not die on the first turn, but they will die.
Yeah.
So how do I get the most out of every single one of my models, and how can I just try and do some damage, get some hull points on there, maybe wreck some things?
He got an unlucky scatter with one of his Melta squads, but regardless, it just kind of is. He shot, and you see we're actually right back into Matt's movement phase. That's because the Cerino shot and didn't actually do anything.
Yeah, well, Matt's very bad at rolling dice.
Very bad.
Let's talk about it.
But and then on top of that, this is one of the few times I've actually seen DeFranza roll above average. And he's just making jig saves left and right. So the problem is his Alpha Strike crippled that bike squad, and really there was no penalty for it with that 3-up jig. Sure, he's snap firing the couple Wave Serpents that were shot at, but so what?
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of these things where, when we talk about this for Matt Cerino, the matchup is not positive at all. There's really not much you can do. But whenever you guys go to tournaments and stuff like that, sometimes you have to scrap it out during bad matchups. You're not going to be able to bring a list that's absolutely amazing against the entire field unless you're Nick Nanavati playing Demons, apparently.
Well, that was Adepticon.
Yeah.
And Ovesta Star. There was definitely those lists, and that's why they were so popular, like those Death Star builds, because they were so good against the wide field.
But one of the things you're going to see is new edition, new lists, new meta, new rules. It's going to be hard to predict what a meta is, and should try and bring an all-comer list is going to be really tough. So it's one of these things where we see Matt DeFranza is so comfortable just bringing as many Serpents as possible because he knows exactly what they do. He knows pretty much what his opponent's going to do every single time, but he can just sit back and pick stuff off.
So this is where Matt unleashes some of the most epic dice rolls I've ever seen. And by ever, I mean no. Yeah. He passes 1 out of 9 2-up armor saves.
Which... I don't know math that well, but that seems
about mathematically average, I think, right?
I guess.
I mean, we can always ask Cerino if that's about mathematically average for him.
I don't know enough about math to dispute you.
So, you just see these Wave Serpents just unloading into things. Matt's reserves don't really, he gets a Rhino in. Now, he does have the outflanking Rhinos, which are bringing him, Meltas, things like that. Again, this is guys kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
Mentality with lists. Like, we know, like, okay, MSU seems really good. Well, this bike command grav unit was phenomenal.
Really
is it still really good? And things like that. And, it's, hey, Wave Serpents are going to be good. Let's run Wave Serpents.
Mm-hmm. And we could see how that, especially that first turn Alpha Strike, I mean, maybe if Matt got to go first, maybe if Matt had better reserves, maybe if Matt rolls a few more dice a little bit better, maybe something changes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it could kind of go either which way in this matchup. I mean, you see Matt still playing those out, so it is objectives. He's still trying to get on the objectives. He's trying to hit some Wave Serpents, getting into close combat with them. The problem is when he kills a Wave Serpent, he has 7 turn around and look at him. When he kills a Wave Serpent, he has 6 turn around and look at him and go, well, that's a threat.
This is definitely something where even if Matt pulls it out, it's going to be a complete Pyrrhic victory. He's going to have models taken off the table left and right.
I mean, it's not a wonderful matchup, and again, that's coming back for that 3-up jink. That 3-up jink is so powerful. Sure, it's only a 3-up save, but I mean, you're paying a premium most of the time for things like, melt-a-gun, stuff like that, and 3-up saves just sitting out in the open, that could be brutal.
Yeah, and we've seen in other matchups, especially in stuff where if you take like a Riptide and just fire it into something, and it's like, oh, I rolled a bunch of 4s. Well, okay. The activation for that model is pretty much essentially spent for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have to snap fire next turn. Not that big of a deal. I mean, there's a lot of things. If you move far enough, you still have to snap fire. So it's something to where, if you take a look from DeFranza, he goes, if I'm in any real danger, jink.
Exactly. So he actually ends up doing that coming up here. He starts to jink and then go, okay, I got snap fire, knife flat out.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things where we take about when bad things have to happen. So say you have to jink, take advantage of it. If you're gonna have to snap fire, just see what else you can do.
Now you're utilizing your speed.
And it's one of the cool things we see about this is mobility. Plus now a lot of these transfers have they're so elusive with jink. So you can't go, okay, I'm gonna drop my few meltas in. All right, cool. They'll definitely take this out. Well, it's not like that anymore.
So, I mean, at this point, DeFranza he's far enough ahead. He's cleaned up a couple of match troops. His things are outflanking, but the problem is his things came in too scattered, and DeFranza just basically was able to focus one thing at a time down with Serpents.
It's one of these things where due to the fact that Matt pretty much brings the unit onto the table, and then they can get focus fired. He brings the unit on the table, they get focus fired. Matt doesn't have any options, really. And DeFranza's pretty much put him in the spot. He's going to line up all those guys back there and go, okay, you're going to have to come toward me. When you come toward me, I'm just going to shoot you.
So, and one of the other problems is, one big problem people have, I mean, it's caught me, things like that, when you're in the driver's seat of a game, you have to find a good mid-ground. Because sometimes if you pursue too heavily to table somebody, you end up making mistakes, and it gets you in a bad spot. Simultaneously, if you relent off of them and you give them a breather, then you run into issues of, well, now they're kind of able to kind of mount a comeback, and there's a couple of things. Matt, as you see, is not really doing that. He's making his moves in the backfield, but he's still keeping some of the pressure up. He's not like all in pressuring them, where he can kind of get caught off. But he is definitely making his moves. So he pressures the midfield with his Warlord, side shrieks off the Thunderfire, cleans up the scouts, and basically kind of wraps up the game for him.